Hi everyone, I'm Pocketful of Posies, and welcome back to my channel. As an artist, sometimes I want to push myself in terms of what I can do with my work. With doll customizing, for instance, I wanted to learn how to do body mods. I've wanted to make a mermaid doll for a while, so that was the one I was going to start with. This was originally going to be a mermaid project, but with the problems I was having with Stormy, it got delayed a whole bunch until now. So, let's get started. I found this Draculora doll at a thrift store a long time ago, and this poor thing looks like she's been through a lot. She's all dirty and was missing a leg, so I thought she would be a good start for a mermaid to give her a new life. One thing that happens a lot when I work with thrifted dolls is that their hair tends to suffer from glue leaking through the hair plugs, making a huge sticky mess to clean up. It's actually a great motivator for customizing, because I get so tempted to clean it up with some nice new hair and whatnot. Heating up the head before I take it off not only makes the head easier to remove without damaging the neck peg, it also makes it easier to get the glue and hair plugs out. Since this one is so sticky, I had sticky fingers and tools to work with, which was all kinds of gross. Good news is I eventually got rid of all that hair. The face is still dirty, so I gave the head and body a good cleaning to get rid of the dirt and remove as much of the stickiness as I could. After that, I can remove the face with pure acetone. One thing I wanted to use for this project was this scale print fabric I found at my local fabric store a long time ago. It's a multicolored pattern, so it can sometimes make choosing colors for the other aspects a bit more difficult. I ended up going with this nylon hair from the Doll Planet in Ziggy Stardust for the reroute. After the reroute, I poured glue in the head to seal it up. Then I was able to start the face up. First thing I always do is pastel blushing on the lips and cheeks. Then I can start drawing the eyes. I wanted the doll to be looking up and to the left because of something I wanted to put in her hair later. At this stage, I outline the lips into a smile and start coloring the eyes blue. When I was putting the colors in, I was trying to see if I could add a waterline and some eyeshadow. This is one of those face-ups where the whites don't want to show up, so I had to use paint to help it along. I also decided I wanted to give her an open mouth smile, so I used the paint for that too. At this point, I began adding shading and definition with the eyes and eyebrows and just generally building up the colors. When I was satisfied with the color buildup, I wanted to use some Pearl X powder to add a bit of sparkle to the eyes. The problem I tend to have with this step is that it can obscure the details I was doing, so I end up doing a little more detailing over it after another layer of sealant. I use a dotting tool to add the lights in the eyes. The last thing I wanted to do is use some more Pearl X powder on the face to give a more fantastical look for her. Then I add some varnish to the eyes, and that finishes the face up. I managed to remove the legs off screen, though to get the hip pegs off, I had to resort to drilling upwards to make this. It's not the cleanest job, but fortunately I knew it would be covered with the tail. To fix the waist, I used a 2-part epoxy sculpt. This black epoxy I bought tended to make a mess, which ended up being a big problem for this custom from here on. Then I used aluminum foil to define the hips more for the future tail. I used wire for the tail's armature, and I stuck it through the foil. Then the obvious problem arose where that wouldn't be strong enough to hold it, so I had to remove everything and stick the wire through the waist part to do it all again. I had a hard time deciding what to do for a top, but eventually I took a page from Enchanterium's Atlantis Mermaid doll and sculpted a simple strap. Unfortunately, the residue from the epoxy sculpt went all over the body, so I had to use pan pastels to clean it up. I also decided to add some body blushing to help cover the mistakes and make the fix-up look a bit more seamless. After painting the top, I add some more Pearl X powder. I use some leftover yarn fluff to build up the tail and wrap it with some spare fabric. If you're wondering about the continuity, it's because during this step, I felt that adding the top first would have made everything cleaner. I decided to use some fabric for the tail. I was using Enchanterium's Mermaid video as a reference for the wiring. I used embroidery floss to make the fin lines, and it can also keep the wiring in place. Then I wrapped it around the tail. With that done, I got the scales fabric and cut some pieces for the tail. Since it turned out to be a mistake to glue the fin onto the tail first, I ended up having to slip stitch the entire tail together. Oh my goodness, this tail is long! I wanted to give her a hair accessory, and this inspired me to make a grumpy little starfish sidekick that lays on her head. I made him out of paper clay and painted him pink. Afterwards, I give him a face. I put his eyes the way I did to give the impression that the two are looking at each other. I tied a bit of the hair back with some thread, and I glued the starfish onto that. The doll has some factory-made holes from the earrings, so I made some pearl earrings out of 2 sewing pins and painted them with this pearlescent white paint. I cut the pins short and I can fit them in. And that completes the doll. There's something about taking an old beaten doll and giving it a good clean makeover that's so satisfying, especially when I can make something new out of it. If you like this video, please feel free to like, comment, share, and/or subscribe. I have an Instagram account where I post most of my doll-related stuff called PocketFullOfPosies6052. Or you can check out my Etsy store where I'm selling some of my Barbie repaints and hopefully some more customs in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye!